question. Is Somalia one of the greatest examples of why foreign intervention in Africa is problematic? So in 2006, Somalia had been through 15 years of collapse. Since 1991, it hadn't had a central government, just warlords, militias, and chaos. One of the weakest states on the continent. And that's when outside power stepped in. A group called the ICU took control of Mogadishu. They weren't elected, but they did bring some sort of order. Gunmen were pushed out, markets reopened, the port and airport came back online. And for the first time in years, the people started to move safely. Schools reopened, courts handled disputes. The ICU was made up of religious leaders, clan elders, and some scholars. And some of them did have extremist groups, that's true. And not every Somalia did actually support them, but for many, it was the first sign of peace. After 9/11, though, the US saw them as a threat, too religious, too close to terror. So in 2006, Ethiopia entered, backed by the US, and airstrikes begun. Special forces moved in, US intel ran deep. Officially, they were back in Somalia's transitional federal government. But let's be honest, the TFG had no elections, no control in Mogadishu, and little support. The ICU held real power, actually. So when they were removed, vacuum formed, a more radical group actually emerged, one that's actually still active today. The fighting hasn't stopped. From 2007 to 2021, the US launched over 260 airstrikes. Thousands died. Reports say civilians were caught, families, farmers. US troops pulled out in 2021, but then returned in 2022, and now they're helping build army bases. But why did they leave? And when they did, was Somalia worse than before? The help arrived, but when it did, things got harder. Displacement rose, violence spread. The Enough Project said that the intervention provoked a brutal cycle of insurgency that plunged the country into new depths of misery. And millions remain displaced today, right? So yes, the ICU wasn't perfect. Some members had extremist ties. The TFG did actually ask for support. But facts are facts. A fragile peace was forming before. A weak government was propped up. Foreign strikes hit. And then Somalia just never recovered. The problem isn't that they came. It's what they did and how long they stayed. And when they finally did leave, they were like Denzel. They were like, I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something. And of course, no, it wasn't just about security. Somalia sits on the Horn of Africa. Key shipping lanes, oil, gas, rare minerals. US oil firms had shown interest before the collapse. And in 2024, Turkey signed a 10-year deal to run Somali ports. And let's be clear, I'm not trying to free Somalia in 2006, right? The country has changed. Progress is happening. But I'm using the moment to show a pattern for other African nations too, yeah. What happened there still echoes everywhere. So if you want the full picture, look at the terror label, yes, but also look at the map, look at the contracts, look at the timing. That's what happened when help came. That's what was left behind. Foreign help comes with a bill. Sometimes it's lives.